The All England Club has witnessed legends for nearly 150 years. It has celebrated champions, crowned dynasties, and produced some of the greatest moments in sporting history. Every summer, the world's best players arrive in London chasing the same dream, to lift the most prestigious trophy in tennis. But every once in a while, a different kind of story captures the world's attention. Not the story of a champion, the story of a dreamer. The story of a young athlete who arrives with little expectation and leaves with millions of people believing they have just witnessed the beginning of something extraordinary. That story belongs to Alexandra Eala. When Wimbledon 2026 began, most experts viewed the 21-year-old Filipina as a dangerous outsider. She had already shown flashes of brilliance on the WTA Tour, but few believed she would become one of the defining stories of the championships. The spotlight belonged to Grand Slam champions. The headlines belonged to world number ones. The predictions belonged to established stars. Alexandra Eala wasn't supposed to change the conversation. But that's exactly what happened. From the very first round, something felt different. Every time Eala stepped onto the court, more spectators gathered. Fans wearing Philippine colors filled the stands. Children held homemade signs with her name written across them. The famous Wimbledon queue stretched longer as people hoped to watch the tournament's newest sensation. Soon, television commentators couldn't ignore what was happening. Neither could tournament officials. Every match featuring Eala seemed to create its own atmosphere. The applause was louder. The emotions were stronger. The excitement was impossible to manufacture. It wasn't simply because she was winning. It was because of how she played. She attacked without fear. She chased every ball. She celebrated every point with genuine emotion. And after every match, whether she won or lost, she stayed behind to thank the fans who had supported her journey. That simple act created something rare in modern sports, a personal connection. People didn't just admire Alexandra Eala. They felt invested in her story. Back in the Philippines, the impact was even greater. Families stayed awake through the night despite the time difference. Restaurants organized viewing parties. Shopping malls displayed giant screens showing her matches live. Social media exploded with messages of encouragement as millions followed every serve, every rally, and every victory. It no longer felt like one athlete competing overseas. It felt like an entire nation was standing beside her. Even longtime tennis fans admitted they hadn't seen this level of excitement surrounding a young player in years. The momentum kept growing. The victories kept coming. And with every match, one question became louder. Could Alexandra Eala really challenge the biggest names in women's tennis? Most people still believed reality would eventually catch up with the young Filipina. After all, Wimbledon has always rewarded experience. Pressure has ended countless Cinderella stories before. But Alexandra Eala didn't arrive in London to follow someone else's script. She came to write her own. And before the tournament was over, she would produce a performance that would send shockwaves through the tennis world, inspire millions across the globe, and prove that sometimes the biggest story at Wimbledon isn't the player who lifts the trophy. It's the player who changes the future. By the middle of the first week, Alexandra Eala was no longer just another name in the draw. She had become the player everyone wanted to watch. Fans who had never heard of her before the tournament were suddenly checking the daily schedule to find out when she would play next. Television broadcasters moved her matches to prime viewing windows. Reporters crowded around the practice courts, hoping to catch a glimpse of the young Filipina whose fearless style had become the talk of Wimbledon. It wasn't just about winning. It was about belief. Every time Eala stepped onto the court, she played with a confidence that ignored rankings and reputations. She wasn't intimidated by Grand Slam champions or higher-seeded opponents. She trusted her aggressive forehand, her quick movement, and the competitive spirit that had carried her from the junior circuit to the biggest stage in tennis. Then came the match that changed everything. Standing across the net was one of the tournament's most respected players, a proven champion with years of experience on the sport's grandest stages. Most analysts expected Eala's remarkable run to end there. Instead, she delivered the performance of her life. From the opening game, she dictated the pace with fearless shot-making. She attacked short balls without hesitation, defended impossible rallies, and remained composed during the biggest moments. Every winner brought another roar from the crowd. The atmosphere inside center court was unlike anything seen earlier in the tournament. Spectators weren't simply watching an upset unfold. They were witnessing the arrival of a new star. As the final point landed inside the baseline, the stadium erupted. Thousands of fans rose to their feet, applauding a performance that few had believed possible just hours earlier. Alexandra Eala had defeated one of the world's best. The victory echoed far beyond Wimbledon. Across the Philippines, celebrations erupted despite the early morning hours. Families cheered from their living rooms. Sports bars filled with applause. Social media exploded with congratulatory messages as videos of the match spread across the internet. For millions of Filipinos, this wasn't simply another tennis result. It was history. The international media reacted just as quickly. Headlines described Eala as the tournament's breakout star. Former champions praised her composure under pressure. Analysts began asking whether she could make an even deeper run into the second week. Suddenly, expectations changed. She was no longer viewed as a dangerous outsider. She was viewed as a genuine contender. Yet amid all the attention, Eala remained remarkably calm. In her post-match interview, she smiled, thanked the fans for their incredible support, and gave full credit to her opponent. There were no bold predictions, no celebrations that crossed the line into arrogance, just quiet confidence. That humility made people admire her even more. She wasn't trying to become the face of women's tennis. She was simply trying to become the best version of herself. Little did anyone know, the biggest emotional moment of her Wimbledon journey was still waiting. Because in just a few days, Alexandra Eala would walk onto center court again for the most important match of her career, a match that would end her tournament but elevate her status to something far greater than a quarter-finalist. It would transform her into one of the most inspiring stories in world tennis. By the time Alexandra Eala walked onto center court for her fourth-round match, the atmosphere felt completely different from the opening days of Wimbledon. She was no longer an underdog hoping to surprise the tennis world. She had become one of the tournament's biggest attractions. Hours before the first serve, spectators lined up outside the gates. Television crews positioned their cameras early. Around the world, millions of fans adjusted their schedules to watch the young Filipina take another step toward history. Standing across the net was one of the tour's most experienced competitors, a player who had already proven she could thrive under the pressure of Grand Slam tennis. Unlike earlier opponents, this would require more than fearless shot-making. It would demand patience, discipline, and unwavering belief. From the opening game, the intensity was extraordinary. Every rally felt like a battle. Every point carried enormous weight. The crowd responded to every winner with thunderous applause, refusing to let the energy inside center court fade for even a moment. Eala fought for every ball as though the match depended on it. She chased impossible shots. She turned defense into attack. She refused to surrender a single point without a fight. Whenever momentum shifted toward her opponent, she answered with another burst of fearless tennis. The crowd loved every second of it. Even neutral spectators found themselves cheering for the young player whose determination seemed limitless. For nearly 2 hours, center court witnessed one of the most entertaining contests of the tournament. But tennis can be brutally unforgiving. At the highest level, only a handful of points often separate victory from defeat. As the final set unfolded, experience gradually began to make the difference. Her opponent remained calm during the crucial moments, taking advantage of a few narrow opportunities to edge ahead. When the final point ended, the scoreboard confirmed that Alexandra Eala's unforgettable Wimbledon journey was over. Yet something remarkable happened next. Instead of silence, center court exploded into applause. Thousands of spectators immediately rose to their feet. The ovation continued long after the players met at the net. It wasn't applause for a champion. It was applause for courage, for determination, for a young athlete who had inspired millions without ever giving up. Alexandra Eala smiled through the disappointment. She looked around the stadium, placed both hands together to form a heart, and thanked every corner of center court. That single gesture captured everything fans had come to admire about her: humility, gratitude, and genuine appreciation for the people who had supported her remarkable journey. Across social media, videos of the emotional farewell spread around the world within minutes. Fans praised her fighting spirit. Former players admired her maturity. Sports commentators described her Wimbledon campaign as one of the defining stories of the championship. Although she left without a trophy, she departed with something equally valuable: respect. The respect of opponents, the respect of legends, and the respect of millions of tennis fans who had discovered a new player to believe in. But as emotional as that farewell was, its greatest impact would only become clear after the tournament ended. Because Alexandra Eala hadn't just changed perceptions about herself. She had started a conversation about the future of women's tennis itself. And that conversation was only beginning. As Wimbledon entered its final week, the tournament continued exactly as it always had. Championship contenders battled for a place in history. Former Grand Slam winners fought to keep their dreams alive. The world's highest-ranked players remained in the spotlight. But something unusual was happening. Even after Alexandra Eala's elimination, conversations around the tournament kept returning to one name. Her name. Sports talk shows debated her future. Tennis podcasts dedicated entire episodes to her remarkable run. Highlight reels featuring her biggest moments continued to rack up millions of views online. For a player who hadn't reached the final, the attention was extraordinary. It raised an interesting question. What makes a true sports superstar? Is it trophies? World rankings? Or is it the ability to make people care? Alexandra Eala had discovered something that statistics alone could never explain. She made people emotionally invested. Every time she stepped onto the court, fans believed something unforgettable might happen. Children copied her forehand on neighborhood courts. Young players watched her matches frame by frame, hoping to learn from her fearless style. Parents who had never followed tennis suddenly found themselves discussing rankings, tournament draws, and Grand Slam schedules over dinner. That kind of influence reaches far beyond the boundaries of sport. It creates a movement. Across the Philippines, Eala's Wimbledon run sparked a renewed excitement for tennis. Local clubs reported increased interest from beginners. Coaches spoke of children arriving with dreams that had once seemed impossible. For years, basketball had dominated the country's sporting imagination. Now another dream had entered the conversation. The dream of standing on center court. The dream of becoming the next Alexandra Eala. Internationally, her breakthrough also changed perceptions. For decades, the Philippines had rarely been mentioned when discussing the future of professional tennis. Now, analysts were calling it one of the sport's fastest rising markets. Broadcasters recognized the passion of Filipino fans. Tournament organizers noticed growing international interest whenever Eala appeared in the draw. Sponsors also took notice. Companies are always searching for athletes who inspire people beyond the scoreboard. Athletes whose stories connect with audiences across different cultures. Eala had become exactly that. Not because she chased attention, but because her authenticity attracted it naturally. Yet with greater recognition comes greater responsibility. The next time Alexandra Eala enters a Grand Slam, she won't surprise anyone. Opponents will prepare more carefully. Expectations will be significantly higher. Every match will carry additional pressure. That is the price of becoming a global star. But pressure has a unique way of revealing greatness. The players who embrace it continue climbing. The players who fear it often disappear. Everything Alexandra Eala has shown so far suggests she belongs in the first group. She has never backed away from a challenge. She has never allowed expectations to define her. Instead, she continues doing what brought her to Wimbledon in the first place. Working, learning, improving, believing. Because deep down, she understands something that every great champion eventually discovers. One incredible tournament can introduce you to the world. But consistency is what transforms a rising star into a legend. And judging by everything we've seen, Alexandra Eala's greatest victories may still be waiting just beyond the horizon. When the lights went out at Wimbledon, Alexandra Eala boarded her flight with more than just another tournament behind her. She carried something far more valuable: belief. Not only her own belief, but the belief of millions of people who now saw her as one of the brightest young stars in tennis. For years, success had been measured by rankings. Win enough matches, break into the top 100, reach the top 50, eventually challenge for Grand Slams. But Wimbledon changed that conversation. Alexandra Eala was no longer simply climbing the rankings. She was building a legacy. That distinction matters. Rankings rise and fall. Legacies endure. The attention surrounding her was no longer limited to the Philippines. International media outlets began following her every move. Former champions praised her maturity. Analysts pointed to her fearless style as one of the freshest stories in women's tennis. Suddenly, every tournament she entered felt different. She wasn't arriving as an unknown player anymore. She was arriving as someone people expected to see in the later rounds. That expectation can become a heavy burden. Every rising star experiences it. Opponents prepare harder. Crowds expect miracles. Every defeat is questioned. Every victory is analyzed. There is no hiding once the spotlight finds you. The next chapter of Eala's career will be defined by one question: can she handle that pressure? History suggests the greatest champions embrace moments like these. They understand that pressure isn't an obstacle. It's proof that people believe you're capable of something extraordinary. Everything Alexandra Eala has shown throughout her career suggests she shares that mindset. She never celebrates too early. She never allows one victory to define her. And she never lets one defeat destroy her confidence. Those qualities separate contenders from champions. The calendar now shifts toward the hard-court season. New cities, new stadiums, new challenges. The pace will be faster. The competition even tougher. Some of the biggest names in tennis will be waiting. Every match will test the progress she has made. But perhaps the greatest advantage Alexandra Eala carries isn't found in her forehand or her serve. It's found in her mindset. She competes with joy. She plays with courage. She understands that every difficult match is another opportunity to improve. That mentality has already taken her further than many expected. Imagine where it could take her in the years ahead. One thing is already certain: young athletes across the Philippines are dreaming bigger because of her. Parents are introducing their children to tennis for the first time. Local clubs are welcoming new players inspired by what they watched at Wimbledon. The impact of one remarkable tournament is already spreading far beyond center court. Years from now, people may remember Wimbledon 2026 not simply because of who won the championship. They may remember it as the tournament where the world discovered Alexandra Eala. Not as a future star, not as a promising prospect, but as a player who had already proven she belonged among the very best. And if that was only the beginning, the next chapter could become even more unforgettable. As the gates of the All England Club closed and the final crowds drifted into the London evening, Wimbledon 2026 officially became history. A champion had been crowned. Another Grand Slam was complete. The famous grass courts would soon fall silent once again. But somewhere thousands of miles away in the Philippines, the celebration was only beginning. For millions of Filipinos, Alexandra Eala had already achieved something that no trophy could measure. She had made them believe that a young girl from Quezon City could stand on the biggest stage in tennis and compete fearlessly against the world's elite. Believe that dreams once considered impossible were suddenly within reach. And believe that the next great chapter of Philippine sports had already begun. That may be the greatest victory of all. Because championships inspire people for a season. Hope inspires generations. The road ahead, however, will be anything but easy. The tennis world moves quickly. Every tournament presents a new challenge. Every opponent studies your strengths. Every weakness becomes a target. The surprise factor is gone. From now on, Alexandra Eala won't be the player nobody expects. She'll be the player everyone prepares for. That is the true test of greatness. Not reaching the top once, but staying there. Can she continue climbing the rankings? Can she challenge consistently for WTA titles? Can she become the first Filipina to win a Grand Slam singles championship? No one knows the answers yet. But one thing is certain. She has already earned something every athlete dreams of. Respect. The respect of her opponents. The respect of tennis legends. The respect of fans from every corner of the world. Most importantly, she has earned the confidence to believe she belongs among the very best. History has shown that every great champion has a breakthrough moment, a tournament that changes everything. For Roger Federer, it was Wimbledon. For Rafael Nadal, it was Roland Garros. For Serena Williams, it was the US Open. For Alexandra Eala, Wimbledon 2026 may become the tournament that transformed potential into belief. Years from now, people may not remember every score or every statistic from this remarkable fortnight, but they will remember the emotion. They will remember the packed stands. They will remember the Philippine flags waving proudly across the grounds. They will remember a fearless young woman who refused to be intimidated by reputation. And they will remember the standing ovation that proved greatness is not always measured by trophies. Sometimes, it is measured by the hearts you touch, by the dreams you inspire, by the barriers you break. Alexandra Eala arrived at Wimbledon hoping to make history. She left having done something even bigger. She gave an entire nation a reason to dream. Now, the journey continues. New tournaments await. New rivals stand ready. New opportunities are just around the corner. The tennis world will be watching every serve, every rally, and every victory, eager to see what comes next. Because this isn't the end of Alexandra Eala's story. It isn't even the beginning of the end. It is simply the end of the first chapter. The next chapter could bring bigger victories, greater challenges, perhaps even a Grand Slam trophy. But regardless of what happens next, one truth has already been written into tennis history. Alexandra Eala didn't just announce her arrival. She inspired a generation. And if Wimbledon 2026 taught us anything, it's that the most unforgettable stories don't always end with a champion lifting a trophy. Sometimes, they begin with a young dreamer showing the world that anything is possible. This is only the beginning.